So I went to the Father's Day game at Target Field with my family. I always have a good time at the ballpark, don't get me wrong, but I was hoping for a Twins win, and this video I'm about to show you is kind of what happened when it was 6-4, and Byron Buxton came up to the plate because Baldelli decided to put him in for whatever reason, and I thought, hey, maybe this could be a big moment. Buxton proves himself to be clutch, and I can film it on my phone, so this is the footage I got. Hello to the pessimistic, optimistic, and everyone in between. My name is Connor Philippi, and welcome back to the Minnesotan Sports Podcast. And yes, we have to talk about this Minnesota Twins team because I've been pushing this video off week after week because, the Twins will do one thing where it's like, okay, maybe our offense is finally picking up, or maybe Rocco's finally making some good decisions, or like this or that. And I'm like, okay, maybe things will turn around and I can just wait a little bit more on the video, but we need to talk about this now because, like I had talked about earlier in the video, I went to that Twins game and I thought this was going to be the big turnaround game where we make a big comeback. We were coming down from 6-1 and we came all the way back to 6-4. We had bases loaded and it was a flyout. It was too shallow of a flyout to score, and then 2 strikeouts that ended the inning. It was the bottom of the 8th. All it would have taken was maybe 2 or maybe 3 singles, and we would have been in a position to win that game. And it was just incredibly frustrating, and it really said it all about how this Twins season has been going if you haven't been paying attention. So let's just dive into, there's really 2 main reasons why I have on here why the Twins are just not performing up to standard and why I miss having this guy in the lineup and many others that have been just historically better at these kinds of situations. So the first thing I have on here is Rocco Baldelli. I think that this is the guy that came in 2019. He was a really good manager, won Manager of the Year. Was he a runner-up or did he win Manager of the Year? I can't remember. I think he was actually Manager of the Year, which is crazy that just 3.5 seasons ago he won that big of an award, and now here we are. I feel like he has leaned in so much to these analytics, but then there's also times where he will do something where I'm like, I feel like the analytics would tell him to do the complete opposite. There is just some very head-scratching decisions, pinch hitting certain players in when I don't know why he would. He's pinch hit Kepler before, which I don't know why Kepler is still. There's got to be some way we cannot play Kepler. Anyone, bring up Wallner and have him play instead of Kepler. Just yesterday, this will probably come out on Tuesday, but on Sunday he brought in Buxton to pinch hit, and he, even bringing in a fresh Byron Buxton who just happened to have that day off and was knocking the cover off the ball, it's kind of one of those things where you feel like, I just don't like bringing in a player who hasn't seen a single pitch in this game in a high leverage situation in the 8th. But it wasn't just that. Byron Buxton has also been striking out so much. And in a situation where we need the hit, I just don't know why Rocco Baldelli would make that decision. And then he's also made some mind-blowing decisions with taking certain pitchers out and putting certain pitchers in. And I went to the game on Thursday when they took Sonny Gray out, and he wasn't having his best outing, but they still took him out way earlier than they should have. He had only given up 2 runs, and his command was a little off, but you gotta trust him, and he wasn't happy with us. And I will say this, if Rocco Baldelli is not fired by the end of the year, Sonny Gray is not going to be on this team. I think that's something that we have to accept at this point, because Sonny Gray has made it a very clear point that he does not want to be taken out early, that he doesn't like these new analytics, that he wants pitchers to be trusted more, and he has sounded off, and he hasn't said it bluntly about the organization, but it's clear he was talking about our organization, that he wants more trust in pitchers and hates the new analytics. And Rocco is firmly in that. He's been taking out Sonny Gray, and on Thursday he really wasn't happy with Rocco that he did that. So I really do think that Sonny Gray is not going to want to stay on this team if it's a team that Baldelli's part of, and that would mean that we would lose our ace because of our managerial decisions. So that would really suck. Just a lot of mind-blowing decisions. And then one decision that happened also on Sunday that I just couldn't believe was, I can't remember what the score was at that moment, but it was close. We had runners at first and second, so a runner in scoring position and no outs on the board. And Rocco comes out there and he decides to put in Jordan Balazovic, who was making his MLB debut in a situation where the game is still in reach and you have a runner in scoring position. Why would you just throw a guy in there and just throw him to the wolves? Like, either get him in there with no guys on base, just wait until the next inning to put him in, or wait until a game where we are ahead, which I get the way we're hitting the ball, that's not going to come anytime soon, so I get that, but just there's so many more situations than that with a runner in scoring position in a still winnable game fairly late in the game that you would put in a player making their very first debut as an MLB player. It was so dumb of a decision to me. So I think Baldelli has to go. The second thing, the main thing I think besides Baldelli is one thing that you can't coach, and that is players who can make big clutch hits in big moments and just in general get hits with runners in scoring position, because this team cannot do that. And it was the same issue last year. It's the same issue we've been dealing with, where in those big moments when it really matters, and this is something that people have been saying just in general about Minnesota sports year after year after year, and we continue to let it happen, these players come up there when the moment is really important and they whiff. And the most frustrating thing about it is that, especially lately, these players are watching the ball go right by them with 2 strikes. Whatever happened to defending the plate, especially in situations where this is a team that strikes out more than any other team in the league, it feels like. I don't know what the exact stats are on that, but it's probably close to number 1 there. For a team that they know they strike out so much, just swing with 2 strikes. You can't let a ball go right down the middle on you with 2 strikes in the bottom of the 8th, which is what Byron Buxton did on Sunday. And Byron Buxton I'm so done with the whole situation. I was firmly, and I didn't have the podcast at this time, but I feel like I want to try and find clips, because I had a radio show at my old college that I did a radio show about Minnesota sports, and I said during that show that I did not like the decision to sign Buxton to such a long extension. I said, I don't like that there's a no trade clause. I don't like that there's that much guaranteed money for a player that is just hurt all the time. And what I said was, he's been good at times, but how good he's been in those times is not good enough to warrant how much money we're giving him and that extended guaranteed long-term deal. And I have not liked the decision anymore as time has progressed, because now Buxton is fairly healthy. He's never going to be fully healthy, but he's fairly healthy. He is only batting, so we're only giving him opportunities to bat the ball, and he's coming up strike 3 every time. What happened to him being the face of our franchise? What happened to him being the guy that you can always count on to come up and hit clutch hits when it really matters? Because I haven't seen him all season. He's maybe had 1 or 2 clutch hits this season. I don't even know if it's been that many. And yes, there's been times he's been out even this season, but it's not the same as in previous years. And people can say, oh, but his knee's still hurt, so he can't swing. Okay, well, that's never, I don't buy that that's ever going to get better at this point. Because that knee has been an issue, and it's been an excuse for why he hasn't performed for the last 2 years straight. And you can't just keep saying, oh, but it's not Byron's fault that he has all these injury issues, and truly, I wish him all the best in figuring that out. But we can't keep using that as an excuse for why he's not performing if it's a chronic issue that feels like it's never going to change. And it's not just Byron Buxton, it's the entire team that can't seem to come up clutch when it really matters in those situations. Currently, the Minnesota Twins are 10-59 with bases loaded this season. 10 for 59. That's .169 of an average. That's worse than Max Kepler's average, and that's really saying something. So that is just unacceptable for a team that's trying to win games. And if you want to take the positive approach to that, it's that the Twins are still at 500 with that bad of an average with runners or with bases loaded. So you could try and find a positive way to say that if the Twins could figure that one thing out, that we could win a lot more games. And that is true. But it's just something that has been a problem for so long that I feel like it's not going to get fixed. And that's what's so frustrating about it. So those are the two main things. Like, it's really as simple as it gets, but it's the simple things that are the most frustrating when there's something wrong with the team. It's the things that you feel like you can't fix that are most frustrating, because you have to sit there helplessly while you watch your team consistently get nice hits and get runners on base, but then just strike out looking when it really matters. And really the only two players on this entire roster that I feel like can come up clutch are very occasionally Carlos Correa, and then it's looking like Royce Lewis is going to be that guy for us, because he can come up clutch. He got a big hit in that bottom of the 8th inning yesterday. He's that guy for us. Byron Buxton isn't, and the rest of the team is not either. So I think I can very confidently say, and I'll proclaim this to everyone here, Royce Lewis is the future of this team, not Byron Buxton. And Byron Buxton, he might be able to change that if he can figure out a way to not strike out and to not get injured. But for right now, it's Royce. And I'm not just saying that because my best friend is friends with him and I got a picture with him a year or so ago at CHS Field. That's not why I'm saying that, although I do love him. Hey, Royce, how's it going? But he's the guy who's going to come up clutch for us in the future. Byron Buxton, it's looking like right now, will not be that guy. We're 500 right now with some hitters that really should be knocking the cover off the ball. And we'll see if Correa can continue to heat up as the months go on. We'll see if maybe this team has a clutch gene in it as it goes into trying to stay in the fight for the AL Central. And they're at 500, still somehow leading the AL Central. So it's looking like either the Twins have some stuff to figure out, or the AL Central will have a champion with an under 500 record this year, and it will probably be the Guardians. So we'll see what happens. There's still plenty of season left to go. And as they always say in all of sports, all that matters is making the playoffs, and you'll see what happens after that. But anyway, that's what I have for you today. Hopefully I have a much more positive message with the Twins than whatever the next video is that I make. But we'll just have to see about that. It depends on how well we can hit the ball in these next few months. And obviously what really matters is July and August. Maybe we can convince the front office to make some moves in the trade deadline, but if we're a 500 team, I don't know if they'll do that, because we were a 10-15 over 500 team at that point last year, and we only made 2 moves. So thanks so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to build my community here on YouTube, and I'm getting some nicer equipment and getting better editing styles and learning some new stuff. So I'm really excited to try and make my videos better and better as the summer goes on. And I think this NFL season coming up is going to be a whole lot of fun to film and edit videos for, and I'm hoping to do it a lot more often now. So thanks so much for the support, and please let me know in the comments what you want me to talk about. It doesn't have to be football or baseball, it could be any sport. But thanks so much again. I'll see you on the flip side.